There's a lot of literature available on how should you onboard users on your product. Whether you cater to other businesses or directly to consumers, educating the users sets the right impression. Not only do the users feel guided, but also motivated to perform the use cases you intend them to. So yes, user onboarding is a crucial element in your product. While you may already be aware of some of the best practices when designing your onboarding process, I believe every touchpoint affects the user's decision to buy. That is, every instance when a user comes in contact with your brand should be considered as a part of the onboarding process. In this video, I'll walk you through some of the ways in which you can think about designing your onboarding process. Before that, please take a moment to like and subscribe to never miss an update. Do you remember the process of planning and dining out? Of course, before the COVID era. Say you were craving some Chinese food. Unless you already had a favorite go-to Chinese place, you'd consider searching for restaurants online that serve Chinese cuisine, check out their reviews, perhaps factor in a few parameters such as their ratings, proximity to your place, ambience, and so on. Next, you'd make a reservation for your preferred date and time. Notice that even though you haven't stepped into the restaurant yet, you still think about how easy was it to make a reservation or the details they put online to help you make an informed decision. Once you arrive at the restaurant, you're probably greeted by the host, make some small talk, post which they take you to your table. Notice how every small gesture contributes to your dining experience. Similar is true for your product. Whether you have an entirely digital or an omni-channel presence, each touchpoint adds to the user experience. As we always say, it is about the customer and not your product. Customers use your product because your product solves a problem for them. The way you acquire users also plays a part in the onboarding process. When you promise to solve the problem for the user in your marketing copy, the user expects the same value when they begin using your product. For example, if your marketing campaigns talk about how easy it is to set up a bulk email campaign, users will want to create a sample email campaign as soon as they come to your product. This is what we call perceived value and experienced value. As OpenView says, what we promise in our copy is the perceived value. What we deliver is the experienced value. Ideally, the perceived value lines up exactly with the experienced value. You can read more about it on their blog from the link in the description. The difference between perceived value and experienced value, or the value gap, is what will drive your customers away. A lot of organizations overpromise and underdeliver, which is where the problem begins. You want people to trust you, and one of the best ways to do so is by giving them what you promised. Hence, take a look at your marketing campaigns and streamline them according to the actions that people take immediately in your product. For example, if you offer a free trial that allows users to set up an email campaign to send email to 100 people, you could talk about how can they test the product for free. Once the user comes to your product, focus on small wins. A lot of organizations bombard users with a list of features they have that could overwhelm them. Also, when you talk about all the different features you have in your product, you move the focus to your product rather than the user. You need to make the customer the hero and not your product. Users have a specific use case in mind when they come to your product. It is your job to identify the use case based on the channel of acquisition. When you help the user solve a small pain point as soon as they come to you, you are setting them up for quick wins. By doing so, the user is not only motivated to solve their own problems but also encouraged to explore your product. According to BJ Fogg behavior model, behavior is influenced by three factors: motivation, ability, and trigger. When you help the user perform an action right when they come to your product, you motivate them to solve their problems. Ability defines whether or not the user can solve their problem using your product. Notice Slack's onboarding flow. People sign up on Slack to communicate with colleagues and build stronger relationships with external partners. Naturally, the value lies in easy communication. Hence, as soon as you sign up, Slack prompts you to message your teammate, thereby giving you a quick win. Further, they list down some of the actions you should immediately perform that will make it easier for you to communicate over several platforms. Such an application is also known as gamification, that is, the application of game design elements and principles in a non-game context. Slack's progress bar shows you the number of actions completed and motivates you to finish all the listed actions. The buttons next to each action redirect you to where you can complete these actions, thereby reducing the amount of effort you need to put in. To create meaningful onboarding processes, you need to think about all the different user personas. If your product caters to 3 different types of users, think about their journey. For example, when you sign up on Canva, it explicitly asks you for your purpose. Based on your selection, the onboarding process differs. If you select small business, they'll recommend Instagram, Facebook, and other social media posts, whereas if you select teacher, they'll recommend infographic, presentations, videos, and so on. Of course, small businesses might also be interested in making an infographic, but it is highly likely that small businesses will use Canva for their social media activity. Similarly, it is highly likely that teachers would want to make a presentation. Say you choose infographics. You'll then be redirected to the creation page with a blank canvas and a range of designs to choose from. Notice how Canva educates the user at this moment. Once you decide that you want to make an infographic, you'd want to know how to make one. That is, whether you need to drag elements, how do you edit elements, and so on. Canva knows that this is the moment when the user needs education. If they try to walk you through the editing process even before you decided that you want to make an infographic, you'd probably be overwhelmed and somewhat confused. Hence, it is imperative to map your user's journey. Think about what the user intends to do at each step and come up with potential solutions to address it. Do not forget to classify each action here as a success metric. When you measure success based on how much does the user engage with your product, you focus on improving user engagement and hence user experience. Look at how Slack does it. When you message teammates as soon as you sign up on Slack, the probability of you engaging in a conversation on Slack increases, and so does the probability of time spent on Slack. When you browse through all the channels, you are more likely to engage in channels you are interested in and engage in a conversation. By downloading the desktop app, you ensure that the app is always active in the background and you will be able to receive notifications every time you turn on your computer. Further, by connecting a Google Drive account, the chances of sharing files with colleagues over Slack increases, thereby giving it an edge over emails. Next, monitor your metrics. For example, Slack monitors the time users spend on Slack daily to estimate if onboarded users are engaging enough. They might also be keeping a track of the number of people who finish all the steps listed down versus the ones who don't. When you track user activity, you constantly build features to optimize and improve the user experience. Of course, you cannot come up with a perfect onboarding process in the first go. You need to keep on iterating and validating by monitoring customer activity. Remember to have a single focus on each page and limit the distractions for your users. Let me know in the comment section what are some of the onboarding practices you use or what did you think about this video.